In the year 2145, humans had finally become part of a bigger, grander universe. Earth was no longer the only planet with intelligent life. After years of exploration and effort, humanity had joined a vast intergalactic community. The Galactic Federation was a union of many alien species, each with its own culture and way of life. But despite all the advances humanity had made, Earth was still considered a newcomer. Many of the older species looked at humans with some level of skepticism, thinking they were too young and unimportant to matter in the bigger picture of galactic affairs. The Federation had a tradition. Every few years, they held a galactic lottery. The event was a celebration, a way to promote unity and peace between the different species. The prize? Something extraordinary. The winner of the lottery would receive a gift, a treasure beyond value. This year, the prize was something even more amazing. Zyra, a being of incredible beauty and mystery, known throughout the galaxy. Zyra was not just another alien. She was something else entirely. Rumors about her had spread across countless worlds. She was said to have an otherworldly allure, eyes that could mesmerize anyone, a voice that could calm the most violent storm, and an aura that seemed to hold the secrets of the universe itself. Zyra was also connected to an ancient and powerful race, a civilization older than the Federation itself. Many believed she held the key to untold knowledge and cosmic powers. Owning Zyra was seen as a great honor, a sign of power and prestige. No one had ever seen her in person, but the stories and legends surrounding her made her the most desired being in the galaxy. The Galactic Lottery was a big deal. For most species, it was a way to show off their power or to prove their worth in the eyes of the Federation. However, many believed that no species would ever truly win the prize. It seemed too great, too powerful for anyone to claim. And in truth, the odds were stacked against humanity. After all, Earth was new to the intergalactic scene. How could humans, a species that had only recently begun traveling beyond their own planet, possibly be worthy of Zyra? The Federation broadcasted the lottery live. Beings from across the galaxy gathered to watch, their attention fixed on the event. The ceremony took place in a grand hall, filled with representatives from many different races. The lottery itself was a simple process. The names of all eligible species were placed in a massive glowing orb, and one name would be drawn at random. Everyone knew that the odds of winning were extremely low, but that didn't stop the excitement. As the ceremony began, the alien representatives from dozens of species exchanged hopeful looks. Some were confident, others nervous, but all were eager to see who would win the grand prize. The Federation official stood on stage, holding the golden orb in his hands, and with a deep breath, he began to speak. Today, we mark a new chapter in the history of our galaxy. The Galactic Lottery is an ancient tradition that brings us together. This year's winner will receive a gift like no other, a prize of unimaginable value. The prize is Zyra, a being of beauty and wisdom, who will become a symbol of the great unity we share. Now, let us see who will be chosen. The orb began to glow brighter, its light shining through the dimly lit room. The crowd grew silent, and the anticipation in the air was thick. The official reached into the orb and pulled out a single slip of paper. He held it up, the name printed in bold letters. Earth, he announced. There was a stunned silence. For a moment, no one moved or spoke. The representatives from the various alien species stared in disbelief. Earth, the humans, the species who had only just begun exploring space. It seemed impossible. Some of the alien leaders looked at each other in confusion, unsure of what to make of this. But there was no mistake. The official's voice rang out once again. Earth has won the Galactic Lottery. The prize, Zyra, will now be sent to Earth. Gasps filled the room. The crowd erupted into whispers. The aliens were stunned. Many were angry, some were curious, and a few were even excited. But all were shocked. How had this happened? The humans had no reputation, no history of greatness in the galaxy. They were still learning the ways of the stars. How could they have won such a prize? Back on Earth, the news spread like wildfire. People couldn't believe it. The galactic lottery was real, and humanity had won. News stations were buzzing with excitement, debates were raging, and social media had exploded with reactions. Some saw it as a miracle, others as a stroke of luck. Many wondered what this meant for the future of Earth. What kind of power would Zara bring to their world? What would it mean to have an alien beauty of such power and mystery as their prize? But there was something else, something more important beneath all the excitement. The Federation had given humanity something no one expected. It wasn't just the prize that mattered, it was the message. Earth was no longer invisible to the galaxy. Humanity was here to stay, and the universe would have to take notice. As Earth's leaders made plans for Zara's arrival, they couldn't help but wonder what would happen next. What kind of power did she hold? And how would humanity deal with the attention they had just received from the farthest corners of the galaxy? The excitement on Earth reached new heights as the day of Zara's arrival finally approached. News outlets from all over the world broadcasted every moment, and people everywhere were glued to their screens. The atmosphere was electric. Every human on the planet seemed to be waiting for something extraordinary. But what exactly was Zara? And what did her arrival mean for Earth? The Federation had sent word that Zara would be arriving in the capital city of Earth, New York, in a massive ship that was unlike anything humans had ever seen. The ship, a gleaming structure of metal and light, was designed with the advanced technology of the Federation. Its hull shimmered with an ethereal glow, giving it an almost otherworldly appearance. As it descended toward Earth's surface, the sky seemed to shift in color, and the air around the ship crackled with energy. People from all over the world gathered to watch the spectacle, some in awe, others filled with uncertainty. The moment the ship touched down, a hush fell over the crowd. The world had been waiting for this moment for so long, and now that it was here, everything felt surreal. The doors of the ship slowly opened, and a figure stepped out into the bright sunlight. She was tall and graceful, her movements fluid and almost otherworldly. Her skin shimmered with a silken glow, almost as if it were made of stardust. Her eyes were large, and their color seemed to change with every blink, shifting from deep blue to radiant silver. It was as if her gaze could pierce through time itself. Zara's appearance was nothing like anything humans had ever seen. She was breathtakingly beautiful, but there was more to her than just physical allure. There was an air of mystery surrounding her, something that hinted at ancient knowledge and cosmic power. As she stepped off the ship, the crowd stood frozen, unable to look away. The media cameras zoomed in, capturing every detail of her perfect form. The world watched in awe, but they also began to wonder, who was she really? What did she want? And why had she come to Earth? The Federation had made it clear that Zara was a gift, a symbol of unity and peace. But as Zara's eyes scanned the crowd, there was something else. She didn't seem like an ordinary gift. She seemed more like a force, something alive with potential, like a storm waiting to unleash its power. Despite her calm and graceful demeanor, there was a quiet strength within her. It was clear that she was not just a beautiful prize to be admired. She was someone to be respected, even feared. As Zara stepped onto Earth's soil, she looked around, her expression unreadable. She paused for a moment, as if feeling the planet beneath her feet, and then raised her hand, a simple gesture that seemed to quiet the crowd. Her voice, when she spoke, was soft yet commanding, carrying a sense of power that made even the most powerful leaders take notice. "I am Zara," she said, her words carrying across the crowd. "I have come to fulfill the prophecy of the Galactic Federation. But I am not just a prize to be won. I am here to find what has been lost, to awaken something that the galaxy has forgotten." The words sent a ripple through the crowd. What prophecy? What had been forgotten? The people watching, from the leaders in the front to the ordinary citizens behind them, all had the same question. What did Zara mean by that? Zara didn't explain further. Instead, she allowed her presence to speak for itself. As she walked down the steps, reporters rushed forward, their cameras flashing, but she seemed untouched by the chaos around her. There was an air of calm that surrounded her, almost as if she existed outside the rush of human emotions. People were fascinated by her, but also wary. No one could deny her beauty or her grace, but there was something deeper beneath the surface, a mystery that made her both captivating and unsettling. At the same time, the leaders of Earth began to realize that the arrival of Zira was more than just a moment of glory. There were other implications. The other species in the galaxy, especially those who had hoped to win Zira themselves, would be watching. Earth, once considered insignificant, was now at the center of attention. The galaxy was paying attention, and not everyone was pleased with the turn of events. As the days passed, Zira remained in the spotlight. She gave a few interviews, but her words were always measured and careful. She spoke of peace, of unity, and of the potential for a new era in galactic relations. But she also hinted at the vast power she held within her. Earth's leaders could sense it. Zira was not just a symbol. She was a key to something much greater, something that could change the future of the galaxy forever. Her arrival on Earth marked the beginning of a new chapter in humanity's history. For years, humans had struggled to gain respect and recognition from the other species of the galaxy. Now, with Zira's arrival, they had been thrust into the spotlight, but they were still unsure of what to make of it all. Would Zira be their ally, or would she be a tool used to control them? And more importantly, what did the other alien species think of Earth's sudden rise to prominence? Zira spent the next few days in seclusion, meeting with human leaders and Federation officials in private. No one knew what was being discussed behind closed doors, but rumors spread like wildfire. Some said she was teaching humanity ancient secrets. Others claimed she was planning something far more dangerous. But no matter what the truth was, one thing was clear. Humanity had just been given a gift, and it was far more complicated than anyone could have imagined. As the days passed, Earth found itself at the center of a storm, both in the galaxy and within its own borders. Zira's presence on Earth had stirred something deep within the human race. No longer were they just explorers of the stars, trying to prove their worth to the galactic powers. Now, with Zira's arrival, Earth was becoming a symbol of strength, mystery, and potential. The world was changing, and no one knew what the future would bring. Zira's beauty and power were undeniable, but it was her aura of ancient wisdom that truly captivated those around her. Leaders from every corner of the Earth sought her counsel, eager to understand the true purpose of her visit. Many saw her as a gift, a powerful ally to help humanity secure a future among the stars. Others saw her as a weapon, one that could be used to bend the galaxy to Earth's will. Yet, as Earth's leaders scrambled to understand what Zira's true intentions were, something else began to happen. Zira herself seemed to grow more curious about humanity than anyone had expected. Despite her serene and composed exterior, she often spoke to human leaders with a kind of admiration and respect. There was something in the way she looked at humans, something that seemed to hint at a deep, hidden connection. It was as if she saw something in them that no one else had ever noticed before. She seemed to believe in humanity's potential, perhaps more than the humans themselves. The Federation, however, was watching with growing concern. They had not expected this kind of reaction from Zira. Some of the older races, who had ruled the galaxy for centuries, began to grow uneasy. They had viewed humanity as a primitive species, something to be tolerated but never truly taken seriously. Now, with Zira's arrival, the humans were gaining attention, and they didn't know how to handle it. The fragile balance of power in the galaxy was starting to shift, and the Federation could feel it. One particular race, the Zorathians, was especially alarmed. The Zorathians were an ancient species known for their fierce intelligence and technological mastery. For centuries, they had considered themselves the dominant force in the galaxy, but the presence of Zira on Earth was a game-changer. The Zorathians had long coveted Zira's power, and they had hoped to claim her for themselves. But now that she was on Earth, under human control, they saw a threat to their position. The Zorethians were not the only ones concerned. Several other races, including the Velethians, an elegant but deadly species of shapeshifters, and the Kakeri, a race of telepathic giants, also began to question Earth's rising influence. Meanwhile, on Earth, tensions were building. The people of Earth, while still in awe of Zira, were starting to sense that the arrival of this mysterious alien was not just a celebration of peace. It was a turning point. Many began to ask questions. Was Zira truly a gift, or was there something else going on? Why had she chosen humanity to be her new home? Some feared that Earth might be used as a pawn in a larger galactic game, where the real players were the Federation and the powerful alien races. Others wondered if Earth was being tested, if humanity itself was about to be put to the test. As tensions between the alien factions grew, humanity began to show signs of something unexpected: unity. Despite their differences, the nations of Earth found themselves working together, driven by a common cause. Zira's arrival had sparked something deep within humanity, a realization that they were no longer alone in the universe, and that they had the potential to shape the future of the galaxy. It was as if Zira herself had awakened a new strength in the people of Earth. The countries, once divided by political struggles and historical conflicts, began to act as one. There were discussions about forming a united human front, one that could not only defend the planet, but also stand as a voice in galactic matters. Zira, sensing this growing unity, was not surprised. She had always believed in humanity's potential. In private conversations with the world's leaders, she spoke of the strength of the human spirit, the resilience of a species that had survived against the odds for centuries. "You are not like the others," she told them. "You have something that the older species of the galaxy lack: drive. The will to adapt, to overcome, to push forward despite everything. I have seen it in your history. You will rise." Her words resonated with those who heard them, and the idea of Earth as a force to be reckoned with began to take root. But not everyone was convinced. Some human leaders, those who had been in power for years, were still cautious. They feared that this sudden rise to prominence might bring unwanted attention or even danger. What if the other races turned against them? What if the Federation was not as friendly as it seemed? But Zira, calm and wise, reassured them. "You are not here to be mere spectators. You are here to shape the future. And you will do so with or without the approval of those who do not understand you." As Earth continued to grow more united under Zira's influence, the Federation's fears began to take shape. The older races of the galaxy were growing restless, sensing that something bigger was at play. They knew that humanity was no longer just a young species to be ignored. The balance of power in the galaxy was shifting, and Earth's place in it was becoming clearer by the day. For the first time in history, humans were beginning to see themselves not as outsiders, but as leaders ready to take their place among the stars. But as they began to step into this new role, they would have to face challenges they never imagined. The galaxy was not going to hand over power easily. And so, humanity's journey had just begun. As Earth began to unite under the mysterious presence of Zira, tensions in the galaxy grew. The older species, the ones who had ruled the stars for centuries, were not ready to let humanity rise so quickly. The Zorethians, in particular, were a powerful force, and they did not take kindly to what they saw as a threat to their authority. Their leaders, furious over the galactic lottery's outcome, began to make moves that hinted at something far darker than simple competition. On Earth, the excitement of Zira's arrival was slowly giving way to more serious concerns. While many on Earth admired her wisdom and beauty, others began to question her true motives. Some human leaders worried that Earth's newfound power might come at a high cost. Was Zira truly on their side, or was there a hidden agenda they couldn't see? Could humanity be manipulated into a position of weakness? The deeper they got into the galactic politics, the more dangerous things seemed. In the grand halls of the United Nations, a special council had been formed to handle the arrival of Zira and the galactic aftermath. The council included political leaders, military commanders, and even scientists who were tasked with understanding the alien race and what Zyra's presence could mean for Earth's future. The atmosphere in the council room was tense. While some saw Zyra as a gift, others were beginning to see her as a potential weapon, one that might be used against humanity. "There's more to this than just a beautiful alien," said President Maria Johansson, a strong voice in the council. "Zyra's connection to the Federation, and especially to the Zorethians, could put us in a dangerous position. The power balance is shifting, and we don't know if we can trust Zyra or the other alien races. We've barely learned how to coexist with each other, let alone navigate the galactic landscape." Her words echoed the fears of many in the room. The idea of Earth being caught between warring alien factions was frightening. While humanity had come a long way, it was still fragile in many ways. They had no real understanding of the larger galactic powers and how to deal with them. If the Federation, or worse, the Zorethians, decided to push Earth into submission, would humanity be able to defend itself? Zyra, sensing the growing unease, remained calm and collected. She had known from the start that her arrival would not be without challenges. She had seen the potential in humanity, but she also understood their fears. In a private meeting with President Johansson, Zyra spoke of what was to come. "The Zorethians will not sit idle," Zyra said, her voice as soothing as it was powerful. "They fear what you can become. They have seen civilizations like yours rise before, only to fall. They are watching you, testing you, trying to find weaknesses. But the strength of your people lies in something they cannot understand, your unity. The unity you are starting to form will be your greatest weapon." President Johansson listened intently. "Are you asking us to fight?" Zyra paused for a moment, her gaze distant, as if contemplating a past far older than humanity could comprehend. "No, not yet. But you must prepare. Strength alone will not protect you. The real battle is in the mind. The Federation and the Zorethians will try to manipulate you, to make you doubt yourselves. If you can stand firm against that, you will win. You must hold on to the strength you are building together." Johansson nodded, understanding the weight of Zyra's words. It was not just about military power or technology. The real battle would be in the hearts and minds of the people. Could Earth maintain its unity in the face of pressure from ancient alien forces? Meanwhile, the Zorethians were already making their move. They had sent emissaries to Earth, demanding that Zyra be handed over to them. The Federation had remained neutral on the matter, but it was clear that the Zorethians were not willing to accept Earth's rising influence. They saw humans as unpredictable, and they feared the possibility that Zyra, once loyal to the Federation, could align herself with Earth. In the shadow of these threats, Earth's military began to prepare. While they had the most advanced technology humanity had ever known, they lacked the experience of dealing with galactic powers. But Zyra's influence had already begun to change things. Humanity was no longer thinking of itself as a small, weak species on the edge of the galaxy. They were starting to see themselves as equal players in a much larger game. As the first Zorethian emissaries arrived on Earth, the atmosphere was tense. The Federation had made it clear that they were watching closely, and the Zorethians knew that any aggression toward Earth could spark a larger conflict. But the Zorethians were known for their cold, calculating strategies. They didn't make threats lightly, and they had already prepared contingencies in case things went south. At a tense summit in New York City, the Zorethian ambassador addressed the Earth leaders, his words sharp and direct. "You have made a grave mistake, humans. Zyra belongs to the Zorethian people. She is not your ally. Do not mistake her beauty for weakness. If you refuse to return her to us, there will be consequences." Zyra was present at the summit, standing calmly beside Earth's leaders. Her gaze never wavered as the ambassador spoke, but the air around her seemed to hum with an invisible power. It was clear to everyone in the room that Zyra was not just a passive participant in this conversation. She had power, power that none of the other races could fully comprehend. "You misunderstand," Zyra said softly, her voice cutting through the tension. "I am not a prize to be claimed. I am not a weapon to be wielded. My allegiance is not with any single race. It is with the future. And the future, as it stands, will belong to those who understand the true meaning of unity." Her words echoed through the room, and for the first time, the Zorathians seemed to hesitate. The weight of Zira's statement hung in the air like a challenge. The Zorathian ambassador glared, but deep down, he knew Zira was not a force to be taken lightly. As the summit ended, the leaders of Earth were left with a difficult choice. Would they give in to the Zorathians' demands and risk their place in the galaxy, or would they stand firm and challenge the powerful forces that sought to control them? As the Earth leaders returned to their respective countries, the future of the planet was uncertain. But one thing was clear: humanity was no longer content to be a passive player. The battle for Earth's future had only just begun. The tension between Earth and the galactic powers was now palpable. The Zorathians' demand for Zira had sparked a series of meetings, debates, and covert plans across Earth. While some world leaders advocated for peaceful negotiations, others, more daring, spoke of defending their newfound position among the stars. The arrival of Zira had awakened something within humanity, an undeniable desire to protect their future and assert their place in the galaxy. In the days following the summit with the Zorathian emissaries, Earth's leaders were forced into action. The Zorathians' threats were not idle. They had already begun moving their fleet closer to Earth's orbit. Satellites detected the advanced Zorathian ships, sleek and silent, circling the planet like a dark cloud. It was clear that their patience was running thin. If humanity did not submit to their demands, there would be consequences. But Zira, ever calm, reassured Earth's leaders. She had known the Zorathians would make a move like this. The ancient race was proud and ruthless, and they would not easily give up their claim to her. But Zira also understood that humanity was not the same as the civilizations the Zorathians had conquered in the past. She saw something in humans that made them different, a drive to survive, to push back against the odds. And that drive, Zira believed, would be their greatest strength. "You are not powerless," Zira told President Johansson during a private meeting in the secured chambers beneath the United Nations building. "The Zorathians rely on fear. They believe that strength comes from domination. But that is their mistake. Your strength lies in your unity and your will. If you stand together, the Zorathians cannot break you." Johansson, always pragmatic, was still concerned. "What happens if we don't comply? They're a powerful race, Zira. We're still learning how to defend ourselves." Zira's gaze softened. "I have seen galaxies rise and fall, worlds burn and be reborn. The power of unity is not just in numbers, it's in your hearts. The Zorathians will not understand that, but you must show them that Earth is not a prize to be won. It is a force that can shape the future." Across the globe, humanity was preparing for the worst. Nations were working together like never before. Military forces from every corner of the planet began coordinating their defense strategies. Ships from Earth's space fleets were equipped with advanced technology, some of it developed with Zira's help. The Federation had provided resources, but humanity had made the most of them. Earth was no longer the helpless underdog in the galactic arena. It had become a force to be reckoned with. While the military prepared, the people of Earth also began to show their resolve. Protests and rallies were held in cities across the globe, not just for Zira, but for the future of humanity. People from every nation, every culture, came together under a single banner: Earth. For the first time in history, humanity was united, not just by their governments, but by their will to defend their place in the stars. At the same time, the Zorathian fleet continued to grow. Their ships hovered just outside Earth's atmosphere, silent and menacing. The Federation, for its part, had warned the Zorathians to stand down, but their warnings had gone unheeded. Now, the stage was set for a confrontation that could change the course of history. The first strike came suddenly. Without warning, a Zorathian warship fired on one of Earth's space stations. The blast rocked the station, sending debris flying into the void. It was an unprovoked attack, and it sent shockwaves through Earth's defenses. The attack was a clear message. The Zorathians would not wait forever for Earth to comply. Within moments, Earth's military forces sprang into action. The space fleets mobilized, and the air was filled with the hum of engines as ships prepared for battle. Earth's leaders, with Zira by their side, gathered to discuss their response. There was no going back now. "We cannot let them think we are weak," said General Marcus Rhodus, the head of Earth's military. "We have to show them that Earth will fight. We have to protect our people." Zira stood in the center of the room, her eyes focused and unwavering. She had faced battles like this before. She had seen civilizations torn apart by forces far stronger than the Zorathians, but she had also seen how smaller, determined peoples had risen from the ashes. The power of unity, Zira knew, was a force unlike any other. She believed in humanity's ability to withstand the storm. "You will not fight alone," Zira said, her voice steady and clear. "I will help you. Together, you can hold your ground." The human fleets, now united and prepared, engaged the Zorathian forces. The battle that followed was intense. Zorathian warships fired their powerful energy beams, but Earth's ships fought back with surprising strength. The technology from the Federation combined with humanity's ingenuity made Earth's forces far more capable than the Zorathians had expected. The battle was fierce, but humanity held its ground. From the surface of Earth, the sky was alive with the movement of ships and explosions. The sight was both terrifying and awe-inspiring. People watched from their homes, from the streets, from every corner of the world. And they cheered. For the first time, they weren't watching from the sidelines. They were part of something much bigger. They were fighting for their future. On the ground, President Johansson stood at the helm of Earth's command center, her eyes locked on the battle unfolding above. The weight of the moment pressed down on her, but she knew that this was the moment that would define Earth's future. This battle wasn't just about defeating the Zorathians. It was about showing the galaxy that humanity was ready to take its place among the stars. As the battle raged on, it became clear that Earth was not going down without a fight. Zira's words rang in the hearts of every human soldier. Unity, strength, and willpower. The Zorathians had underestimated them, and that mistake would cost them. The battle above Earth raged on for days, each moment bringing new challenges, but also new signs that humanity had become a force to be reckoned with. The Zorathian fleet, despite its advanced technology and fierce firepower, had underestimated the human spirit. Earth's military, bolstered by the unshakable unity of the planet's people, fought back with a ferocity that took even the Zorathians by surprise. Zira, standing alongside Earth's leaders in the command center, watched the battle unfold. She had seen wars before, galaxies torn apart by the greed and pride of ancient civilizations. But this time, things were different. This time, it wasn't just a battle for survival. It was a battle for the future, and humanity had something the older races lacked: heart. "We can win this," President Johansson said, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. Her eyes were locked on the holographic display of the battle in space, where Earth's forces were holding their own against the Zorathians. "We've come this far. We won't let them take us down now." Zira nodded, her expression calm but determined. "You have already won. The fact that you have come together as one is a victory in itself. No force in the galaxy can break that unity." But the fight was far from over. As Earth's forces engaged the Zorathians in space, the ground troops were also mobilizing. The Zorathians had begun launching ground-based strikes on Earth's major cities, hoping to weaken humanity's resolve. But Earth's defenses were strong. The military had anticipated such a move and had prepared. The battle was now not only in the sky, but on the surface as well. In the midst of the chaos, General Marcus Rhodus was overseeing the defense of New York City. The city had been hit hard by Zorathian ground forces, but the human soldiers fought back with everything they had. The streets, once filled with life, were now filled with the sounds of war, explosions, gunfire, and the roar of engines. But through it all, the human soldiers held their ground. "Hold them off," General Rojas shouted, his voice cutting through the noise. "We can't let them reach the command center." Rojas' heart pounded as he watched the Zorathian forces push forward. The human soldiers were outnumbered, but their determination was unmatched. They fought not just for victory, but for something greater, their home. Every soldier knew that this battle would define their future. They were no longer just defending a planet. They were defending the idea of humanity's place among the stars. Back at the command center, President Johansson's attention was divided between the battle in space and the chaos unfolding on the ground. The pressure was mounting, and she knew that every decision she made could tip the balance in one direction or the other. She glanced at Sarah, who stood beside her, observing with a keen interest. "You've always been right about humanity's strength," Johansson said, her voice filled with a mix of determination and weariness. "We've proven ourselves, haven't we?" Zira's eyes softened as she looked at the president. "You have. And now the galaxy will see what you are capable of. But remember, the Zorathians will not give up easily. They will test you, push you, and try to break your unity. That is their way." Johansson nodded, her mind racing. She understood the stakes. This was no longer just about defending Earth. It was about proving that humanity was more than just a fledgling species. It was about showing that humanity could stand toe-to-toe with the oldest and most powerful forces in the galaxy. As the battle wore on, it became clear that humanity's resolve was being tested in ways they hadn't imagined. The Zorathians, frustrated by their inability to break Earth's defenses, began to escalate their tactics. They unleashed their most powerful weapon, an energy beam capable of obliterating entire cities in a single strike. It was a weapon of mass destruction, one that could change the course of the war. The first target was Los Angeles. The Zorathians had locked in their sights on the city, and the world watched in horror as their massive warships hovered overhead. In the command center, President Johansson clenched her fists as the countdown to the attack began. There was no time to evacuate the city, no time to prepare. "Launch countermeasures," Johansson ordered, her voice urgent. But it was too late. The Zorathians fired, and the sky over Los Angeles lit up with a brilliant flash of energy. The city was engulfed in the beam, and the shockwave rippled outward, leveling everything in its path. The world watched in stunned silence as the once great city was reduced to rubble. The devastation was unimaginable, but it was also a turning point. The people of Earth, already united in their determination, felt the loss deeply, but it also sparked something more. The pain and grief over the loss of Los Angeles only fueled their resolve to fight. The world's leaders knew they could not let this act of terror go unpunished. Humanity would not be broken. Back in the command center, General Rojas slammed his fist on the table, his face a mask of fury. "They've gone too far now. We need to hit them back, hard." Zira stepped forward, her voice calm but filled with purpose. "You are not alone. The Federation has sent reinforcements. But you must strike now, while the Zorathians are vulnerable." Earth's forces, still fighting above and below the planet, took Zira's words to heart. They coordinated their attack with precision, focusing on the Zorathian fleet's weak points. With the help of Zira's guidance and the Federation's advanced technologies, humanity launched a counteroffensive. The battle turned in their favor. But the cost had been high. Los Angeles was gone, and many brave soldiers had fallen. Humanity's unity, while stronger than ever, had come at a price. The victory over the Zorathians was not without sacrifice, and the scars of war would remain for years to come. As the Zorathians retreated, beaten but not broken, Earth's leaders stood together, staring at the ruins of what had once been a city. They had won, for now, but they knew the true test was still ahead. Zira's voice broke the silence. "This battle was only the beginning. The galaxy is watching, And now, humanity's place among the stars is set. You have proven you are worthy of it. The war between Earth and the Zorathians had taken a heavy toll. The skies above Earth were now filled with the remnants of battle, smoldering debris from destroyed warships, traces of energy blasts still visible in the atmosphere. Los Angeles lay in ruins, a stark reminder of the price humanity had paid to prove its strength. The Zorathians had retreated for now, their fleet damaged, their forces depleted. But Earth knew better than to assume victory was permanent. The galaxy was vast, and the Zorathians would not forget their defeat so easily. Still, for the first time in history, Earth stood as an equal among the stars. The people of Earth had proven something far more important than just their military might. They had proven that they would not bow down, that they would defend their home at all costs. The unity that had been forged in the fires of battle had become a new foundation, a foundation that would shape humanity's future. President Maria Johansson stood on the balcony of the United Nations building, looking out over the city. The war was not over, but the planet was finally beginning to heal. The losses were great, but there was hope. The world had come together like never before, and the unity they had shown was now being celebrated. The people of Earth were stronger than ever, and they were ready to face whatever challenges the future would bring. Behind her, Zyra stood, watching the same view. She had been with humanity through this entire ordeal, guiding them, teaching them the lessons she had learned over the millennia. She had seen worlds rise and fall, civilizations crumble under the weight of their own arrogance. But humanity was different. Their resilience, their ability to unite, was something she had never seen before. And now, she believed, they had earned their place in the galaxy. "You have done it," Zyra said, her voice calm but filled with admiration. "You have proven that Earth is a force to be reckoned with. The Zorathians, for all their power, have learned this lesson the hard way." Johansson turned to her, a look of determination on her face. "We've only just begun, Zyra. The Zorathians won't stop. And the Federation, well, they'll be watching us too. We still have a lot to prove." Zyra smiled softly. "Yes, but now you stand in a position of strength. The galaxy respects strength, and the galaxy respects those who do not bend to the will of others." As Earth began to rebuild, so too did the relationship between humanity and the Federation. The galaxy had watched as Earth fought back against a much older and more powerful race. The message was clear. Earth was no longer just a distant planet, hidden away in the corner of the galaxy. It was a new power, a new player on the galactic stage. The Federation, once neutral in the conflict, now looked at Earth with a new sense of respect. Diplomats and ambassadors from various alien species arrived on Earth, eager to engage in dialogue and form alliances. The Federation, though reluctant to admit it, realized that they had underestimated humanity. They had assumed that Earth would remain isolated and weak, but now they knew better. Earth had earned its place at the table. But not all was well in the galaxy. The Zorathians, while defeated, were not yet finished. They would regroup, they would rebuild, and they would be watching, waiting for the right moment to strike again. The scars of the war would not fade quickly, but the lessons learned from the conflict would echo across the stars. Zyra knew that humanity had come a long way, but she also knew that their journey was far from over. The war had been won, but the true test lay in what came next. Would humanity be able to keep its unity intact as the galaxy's most powerful factions vied for influence? Would Earth be able to navigate the delicate balance of power that would now define their future? Only time would tell. As the days passed, Earth's leaders met with representatives from the Federation. The talks were tense, but there was a sense of mutual respect. Earth was no longer just a fledgling species. It was now part of a much larger community, a community that would shape the future of the galaxy. In the quiet of the command center, Johansson and Zyra stood side by side, watching the progress of the negotiations on a holographic display. The discussions were difficult, but they were necessary. Earth would have to navigate this new world carefully, balancing its newfound power with the need for peace. "The galaxy is watching," Johansson said quietly. "But I think we've shown them that humanity is ready. We've shown them that we can defend our own, and that we will never give up." Zira nodded. "You have proven your worth, Maria. And the galaxy has taken notice. But now, you must be careful. The future will not be kind to those who let their guard down. The Zorethians may be quiet for now, but they will return. And the other races will be watching, looking for weaknesses." Johansson looked at her with a sense of resolve. "We'll be ready." And as the sun set over the earth, its people looked toward the stars with a new sense of hope. The war was over, but the journey had just begun. Humanity had fought for its place among the stars, and now it was ready to chart its own path. The Zorethians, the Federation, and the other races would have to learn a new lesson. Earth was no longer a pawn in their game. It was a player. And humanity was just getting started.